The following program is rated TV MAV. It contains violence and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
So first off, I want to thank you for allowing us to document your story. I noticed a picture you have there. Can you tell me a little about it?
Yeah, this is the day my son was born. It was 1987. God, look how thin I was. My wife left me that same day and took my child, my little bomblet.
Well, you know, that's how things work out.
I'm sorry, could we just stop filming for a second?
Yeah. Okay, so personal question, but what was your drug of choice, if you don't mind me asking?
I would have to say blow, for obvious reasons. I was attracted to the name, and in my heyday, I could put away 4 8-balls in a night.
Understandable. Impressive.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why my wife left me.
Understandable. Now, is it difficult for you to do normal everyday activities with your ball hands?
Yes. It was a lot easier, you know, when I had the family here to help me, but nowadays I get by on my own. As a matter of fact, I actually have to use the bathroom. I might need your help. Do you mind?
Anything for the interview. Hey, you okay in there?
Can I get your help? This is really awkward. Can you help me for a second? I'm sorry, this is really weird. I need your help with the toilet paper. Can you help me with the... He's the only one I got left. He doesn't judge me. Ah! He loves me. Don't you... Ah, fuck! Ow, 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 ow.
2 weeks after this interview was filmed, Bomberman was found decapitated in his own attic. 3 pounds of pure cocaine were found near the body. The authorities have contacted his ex-wife, but she has yet to return any calls. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a safe night. God bless.
Bomberman does whatever a Bomberman can! Is Bomberman human? I would say I've always been a casual fan of the Bomberman franchise. They're fun, charming action games with a hint of puzzle mechanics sprinkled in that are easy to learn, but I would say difficult to master. And there's been like 50 Bomberman games, if you don't include the cell phone games, since 1985 when the first game came out on the NES. And growing up, one of my all-time favorite Bomberman games was actually the first in the franchise to be different than the other traditional games. And that game is Pocket Bomberman on the Gameboy Color. Originally only released in Japan and Europe on the Game Boy, but when 1998 rolled around, America finally got Pocket Bomberman. I don't think there was that big of a demand for it, but hey, at least we got it. Believe it or not, this game actually does have a little bit of a storyline. It's extremely shallow, but you know what? It's on the Game Boy Color, so who fucking cares? We're fed exposition via cutscenes that look fantastic. The game is set in a medieval fantasy world where a sinister cloud has shrouded the sun, and within minutes darkness spreads across the realm. Now, according to legend, a monster named Babylon is the cause of this dark cloud, and he put a curse on the son of the sword, which causes all darkness to spread across the land, and the curse can only be lifted if you collect 5 power stones from each monster that guards them. And now, it's up to Bomberman to scale the evil mountain and rid the land of these beasts to restore light to the land. Next page. The game is split up into 5 different worlds. Forest, ocean, wind, cloud, and EVO! Yeah, there's a world called Evil. Each world containing 4 levels with a 5th level being the end boss. And depending on which world you're in will determine the mechanic within that level that will correspond with the theme of the world. And just as a funny side note, something I noticed, the wind level boss is actually in the forest level, which, why? I mean, he looks cool to be on the cover, but The object of this game is basically the same thing as any other Bomberman game, except it's a side-scrolling platformer. It works the same exact way, where you have to kill all of the enemies on screen, which will open a door that you can progress to the next stage. Alright, so the first world is Forest. This world is more or less to get you familiarized with the gameplay style. It's easy, and the boss is named Torrent, which is... Tree! Yes, good job. I'm proud of you. A tree with a mustache, though. You were almost right. All the bosses in this game have very similar movement patterns when you're fighting them. They all will pursue you and all summon some sort of creature. Torrent actually summons caterpillars that can turn into moths if you don't kill them in time. Hit any of these bosses 10 times and you won. I find this particular Bomberman game to be a little bit easier compared to the traditional ones because you have more options in how you can utilize your bombs, like being able to place your bombs in the air and then use that as a platform to jump to a higher area. That's actually pretty cool. And the funniest part about this is I had no clue you could do this throughout the entire game until after I beat it and then looked at the manual to do this review. Look, another reason why I fucking miss manuals. Why aren't manuals in games anymore? Can anyone tell me this? I don't care that it costs a little bit more to print out a few sheets of paper and put that fucker in there, because the manual explains stuff that maybe the game might not, like the bomb stare thing. I'm sorry, I get so heated when talking about the reason why manuals aren't included in games anymore. Plus, it makes the game feel like it's not complete. Where was I? So, just like in the other Bomberman games, you can find a ton of items that will beef up your stats and abilities, such as remote-controlled bombs, armored jackets, and bomb quantity and health items. Hell, there's even an item in this game that allows you to fly, which is pretty fucking cool. Next page. And all these items that you gain in any level will carry over into the next level, granted that you don't die enough times in order to get it continue, because then they will be gone. That's another really cool thing about this game, and it's kind of rare to see that in like a Game Boy or Game Boy Color game, is you get unlimited continues. It's like, yeah, you might lose all your items, but at least you start out in the world that you last died in, so that's really helpful. But there is a downside to that, so let's say you die on a boss and it was your last life. Okay, you can continue at the boss, but you don't have any of your power-ups, which makes the boss fight a lot more difficult. Another thing I like is this game's UI. It actually shows you most of the items that you've picked up. Some of them are invisible stats, like the roller skates that up your speed or whatever. But yeah, they're all down there. You can see your health, you can see how many bombs you can place out, and you can see how big of a firepower your bombs have. Alright, I'm gonna go through the rest of these boss fights and levels fairly quick, because if I don't, this shit's gonna get redundant and you motherfuckers will click off my video sooner than you already do. Yeah, I look at the analytics. I can see that shit. By the way, subscribe to my channel, like it, and leave a comment down below. Alright, World 2 is Ocean. This level's mechanic uses water streams to move you on a set path to a higher or lower platform. And the boss in this world is a giant crab called Kani Babura. You know what? That kind of sounds like some Japanese sex position or something dirty in Japanese. Watashi wa konojo ni kanebabura. World 3 is Wind. This level's game mechanic is wind. Shoots you up in little wind gusts. And this world's boss is called Terrastone. It's like a pterodactyl, but it's bone. I don't know why they call it stone. They should have called it Terrabone. Okay, that could sound dirty too. Again, slight variation in this boss fight, but more or less the same. Like I said, if I dwell on this too long, redundant. World 4 is Cloud. And here, the game mechanic is Cloud. And this world's boss is called Death Spider. And if you guys have arachnophobia or any sort of fear of bugs or spiders, you're a pussy. Jesus fuck! And finally, we reach the final world, World 5, which is evil! And here, we'll fight the big bad man himself, Babylon. 5. This boss was probably the hardest for me because, well, I died on him the first time and I had to continue, so I didn't have any of my power-ups from the previous levels, so that made it a lot harder. Again, typical fight. He does more attacks than the rest of the bosses, but overall, it's exactly the same. And there you have it! We collected all 5 power stones, the curse has been lifted from the Sword of the Sun, and light is finally restored in the land of... whatever this place is called, it doesn't say. Bomberland. Bomberland. Overall, I really like this game. It's a fun little side-scrolling platformer, slight puzzle mechanic thing. It's a Bomberman game, just in a different perspective. And if you like Bomberman games, you're gonna love this game. It's repetitive, but also rewarding somehow. I don't know, it felt good beating these bosses because you have to hit them 10 times, and if you don't have the power-ups, it actually is a real challenge. I've always loved Bomberman. There's something I like about the character design. Is he human? You know what? I'm not the man to tell you that. But what I can say is he is an iconic character that everyone should play at least one of his games, you know? It's something like, almost like a rite of passage, I'd say. Oh, you haven't played a Bomberman game? Dude, what, did you grow up under a rock? And if you don't enjoy the Bomberman games, or they're just not your cup of tea, you're an idiot. I mean, sorry. There's also a password option that you can use to put in passwords in order to jump you to whatever level you want, which is kind of nice. And there is a second game mode on this. It's called Jump Mode, and it's basically a vertical jumping game where you're constantly jumping and you have to place bombs and kill enemies, and it's actually pretty difficult. So I highly recommend playing that if you want a real challenge. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for this video. Again, if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share it. I honestly would rather you guys share my video than subscribe because, one, none of this stuff costs you a dime to do. It's literally 3 clicks. And you get notified when I put new videos out, and it helps my channel out with the algorithm. I'm sick of being called fucking underrated, all right? Yeah, it's a compliment, but it doesn't help my channel at all. So if you could do the Nerd Lair a favor and just share the video, I would appreciate that. And be sure to check me out on social media. Links are down below in the video description. And if you want some Nerd Lair merch, go check out my merch store. You can get a Nerd Lair t-shirt, Nerd Lair coffee mug. Hell, you can even get a Nerd Lair fleshlight. That's right, I have a vagina. Wait. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time in the Nerd Lair. Stay a strong, independent, single parent. Okay. Fuck, hold on. It's already pressed it. Well, let me get this up a little bit. Okay.